Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Wait a second. This isn't my channel. 1 second.
What's going on, everyone? We're going to be sharing our experience after our first time having Southwest's Companion Pass. We'll be sharing our experience as well as lessons learned and also what we wish we knew for the next time that we get Companion Pass. Also, I was the companion. I wasn't the one with the actual pass where I could travel basically for free with my main companion. So thank you for getting it.
You're welcome. So the reason why I got the Southwest Companion Pass is because we recently moved to Dallas and we thought about, since it's our first time living together, it'd be a really cool experience to be able to have a credit card that is able to give us an extra free ticket while, one of us pays for it. And whether it's a shared expense or not, I was more than willing to pay for his flight ticket since he is free, other than having some taxes and fees like $5.60. Overall, it was a really easy and smooth process to apply for the card. I just pretty much went online and I applied for the Priority Southwest card. And it does come with an annual fee, but with the annual fee, it does give you a couple of credits and nice upgrades when it comes to having like preferred boarding and things like that, even though we didn't really have to use it that much. But I would say it's an excellent card for couples who are just starting to really travel together, especially if you're traveling together from the same destination. And the main reason why we got this card is to, first of all, just have more experiences with each other, even though we did mainly use it to go fly back and forth from Dallas to Atlanta. I still have my business there, a couple of clients that I do see, so that was the main advantage. But we'll definitely talk a little bit more about stuff that we could have used the credit card on when it comes to local travel.
So Southwest has a few credit cards under its umbrella, and they're all offered through Chase. And there's personal cards as well as business cards. But the overall point being that the Southwest Priority card specifically had a sign-up bonus 1 year ago where you could basically meet X amount of minimum spend, but your bonus wouldn't just be X amount of Southwest miles. It would literally be the fact that you get Companion Pass as well. This sign-up bonus isn't always offered all the time, and so it was a promotional period where it was very advantageous for us to go forward with the application. So again, thank you for applying.
Yeah, of course.
And fast forward, we've had it, and here's basically what we've taken away from the experience.
So the first time I used Companion Pass, I thought it'd be super easy just by typing his name and details in online. But in my experience, what I had to do was call customer service to register him. And that was just like a little extra step. And after that step, it's pretty easygoing and pretty straightforward when it comes to booking flights. So let's say I was going from Dallas to Atlanta, all I would have to do is press like add companion, pay some taxes and fees, and then he was on my flight next to me.
So the first time we did need to call customer service to add me because I have a Rapid Rewards number, like a Southwest loyalty number with them, but I wasn't basically being pulled up in the booking while we were doing it.
Right.
So long story short, we called in later, like I was just Googling and otherwise. So there is like an online way to add a companion.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put that out there. Like you don't need to necessarily call in. There is a way to add them. And then when you go for that booking, like it can basically pop up to add me as a companion. And let me ask you specifically, did you have to, like the second time we booked a flight, like did my name pop up or like how does it work?
Right. So it was super simple during checkout when I'm reserving my flight. It's going to ask me, do I want to add a companion? And since his details are already in there, it's super easy. Just pay the fees and you're pretty much good to go. But I will say that even though I check in for the flight, you also have to make sure to remind your companion to check in for the flight too. It doesn't automatically do it for them.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And really quick, the taxes and fees, they're like the $5.60 kind of normal taxes and fees that you always see for like domestic travel specifically.
Right.
And the checking in part, that's a very good point. So what I've noticed is, let's say I've checked in first before her, even though she's the primary person who's doing the reservation, who's booking it for us. When I check in, it kind of basically automatically checks you in. So that's a really good thing. that I've noticed at least.
Okay.
But maybe the inverse is the case, where maybe you've checked in and I haven't, then I don't know what happens. So just like a heads up about that point. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I did wonder whether or not I could bring my dog onto the flight as my companion. So I called customer service and saying, can my dog be my companion? Because, you know, it's like having a seat for them. But they said no, it is an extra fee to bring your pet onto the flight. And I think it was like $125. So just be mindful of that. If you're trying to get this Southwest card thinking that your dog can be your companion, he can't.
I genuinely would have never thought about that angle. So that's a very smart one where like you could just reserve the seat just for, your pet. And one thing I did notice is that when you did take, Toby is his name. So when you took Toby and checked in, you basically pay the pet fee at the like check-in gate.
Right.
When you get to the airport. But candidly, from my side, I've never paid for a pet for like a flight booking. So I don't know if you pay in advance and if that's different. But like with Southwest, you literally pay at the counter.
Yeah, and it's super important. If you do plan to bring a pet onto the flight, make sure to book your flight first and then call customer service so they can reserve a spot for your pet.
The reason this is because I think they said 6 or 8 pets maximum on each flight. And they were like, hey, if it's full, you basically can't get your pet on board. But the catch-22 was like, we were having this talk basically of, hey, if we book our flight, but then it's full and I can't have my pet. The whole point is I'm trying to take my pet on the flight. So what do I do? And you can say a mix of 2 ways. The customer service agent response was, I've never seen a situation where there's a maximum number of pets on an airplane, so it's totally okay. But, when that case actually comes up, then what are you going to do, right? Especially if it's not from your home city to elsewhere, or if like you're already at your destination and then you're trying to fly back. Imagine that's wild. Point being, Southwest has those e-credit equivalents. So in other words, let's say I book my flight, it's $100 and I want to cancel it. I get that same amount of money I spent, but as a future credit essentially to be used. So that's a way to mitigate this. But seriously, if you're in a destination and the plane's full with the maximum number of pets, I don't know what happens. So just like a heads up / disclaimer for planning. This may seem like a very niche point, but at the same time, I think it's important to understand, realize, or to know, because I definitely didn't know this before the fact. So Dallas has 2 airports. One is known as DFW, Dallas Fort Worth. It's basically where you have an Amex Centurion lounge, other Priority Pass lounges, the Capital and Venture X lounge. It's essentially a more international airport. They have a lot of domestic flights as well, but DAL, which is Dallas Love Field, is Southwest's hub. This difference basically means that a lot of Southwest flights, naturally, the majority are going to go from DAL, whilst DFW may not. I don't even know if they have any Southwest flights.
Actually, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't think DFW hosts any Southwest flights. It's mainly major airlines like American Airlines, Delta Airlines, United, and then DAL, since it is the Southwest hub, it's mainly going to fly out from there. Yeah,
I've seen at DAL, they have a few Delta / maybe like non-Southwest flights, but it's like, screams Southwest basically when you get there.
Yeah.
The reason I'm mentioning this is essentially if you're trying to go somewhere with Southwest, whether it's a companion pass or otherwise, the big difference is going to be obviously you're limited by whichever destinations Southwest can go to. At the same time, if you're planning on going, let's say, from DAL airport to elsewhere, and then that elsewhere destination you're trying to come back, the thing is you would, it maybe makes sense. You would have to come back to DAL if DFW has no Southwest flights. But just a point of consideration, because it's a small difference, but whether you're landing or even if you're taking off and it's your first time, like that definitely, you could just easily go to the wrong airport if you're not very clear or like specific about this scenario. Super similar to if you're going to New York, you have your JFK, LaGuardia, and how EWR for Jersey, Newark Airport comes up in search. Is very similar to that situation.
Yeah. So when it comes to booking your flight and the prices of the flight, I highly recommend booking about 3 to 4 weeks ahead of time. So I think the Southwest Companion Pass is really great, especially if you want to take some impromptu trips like within the next month, because you're going to save a lot of money that way. And on average, I would say our flights rounded up to $130 to maybe $150. And if we booked ahead of time, it would be about $79 to $80 per flight. And that's like a round trip right there.
That's a good point you bring up, because that pricing, the point of that is really that if you book super close to the date, sounds like common sense, it's going to be more expensive. But because it's like a buy one, get one free, I think we definitely were like, okay, hey, we can just book closer to the date or choose to book closer to any date, because even if it was the price for, let's say, one person, you're getting, it for two. So it's almost like Companion Pass added a layer of buffer almost of time or planning, where because you have Companion Pass, you're able to go places with your plus one. At the same time, even if you're paying full price for one person, you're still getting it like 50% off. So it's food for thought. I'll leave it at that.
Plus the flexibility of rebooking your flight. Like, let's say we don't even want to go on the trip a day before, they can refund you, or like not even refund you the credits, but you can use it for a future trip. So I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, there's probably a lot more FAQ related items based on our experience, which we could definitely answer. I'm sure we didn't cover everything, but if you have any questions, you can definitely
comment down below.
And I'll definitely answer, and I'll discuss, and we'll make it happen. And from there, I would say the things we wish we knew if we were to get Companion Pass again. Let's get into it.
Book ahead of time. Book ahead of time. That's what I'm telling you. Like, I feel like, because I would say you're more the planner, but then we're both very impromptu and spontaneous people. So we're just like, oh, hey, do you want to go somewhere this weekend or within the next month? I think those trips are super fun. But if we can plan our year like 6 months ahead of time, I think honestly we could have probably traveled somewhere every 2 months or so. Apart from like Atlanta, but maybe since we're in Dallas area, like Mexico is super close by, going towards the West Coast. It just depends on like what's on your bucket list and stuff like that. I think for us, we were just really happy to be together and to be able to experience these new, travel experiences with each other, whether it means traveling back to our hometown or somewhere new. I think that's what we mainly learned from having this Southwest Companion Pass experience for the first year. But the next time that we do have the card, we'll definitely take advantage of traveling a little bit more internationally, or kind of like random states and cities nearby. Yeah,
I think initially when we got it, and it makes sense if you're like a credit card points miles enthusiast, I was just hell-bent on the fact that they're giving Priority Pass as a sign-up bonus. And we've definitely seen it prior, but it was that situation where, okay, hey, and not to get too deep into weeds, but I'm above 524, which means I've had more than 5 accounts in the last 24 months opened. So it's like I'd be auto-denied by Chase if I were to apply for the same card. But I was like, hey, if you apply and get approved, then we'll have this as the bonus. And the point being that in my head, I was like, hey, at least we have it and let's figure it out. But yes, preemptively, I think that it was like, let's get it. But I was like, hey, 52 weeks in a year, if we take, a couple trips every week, you max it out, 104 flights, all that type of logic. And I think it's not possible. It just takes planning. But I think we were just happy, like you were saying, that we have it. And so the lesson learned is basically, hey, the second time we get it, we definitely would be thinking about it from an opportunistic point of view, in the sense of, hey, like I said, 104 flights in a year, but even if it's half of that, or even if it's otherwise. But with that lesson learned, the good thing in terms of value that we did get was the fact that we were able to, quote unquote, shuttle like a school bus or a bus back and forth as we pleased from Dallas to Atlanta, because that was a very important / crucial, not just one flight, but like multiple flights we would take, let's say on average once a month. Instead of having any other way of booking it, we would definitely have the option of not exploiting, but like taking advantage and full advantage of Southwest's Companion Pass. So, and if you're the type who's usually a little bit hesitant on applying for a new credit card, or, it's a little bit like, I don't want too many credit cards in my pocket, in my wallet, but since knowing this guy, he just, he has all the credit cards under the sun, and I'm still getting started in my journey. But with that said, I thought this would be a good opportunity to sign up for the card, since it does have that sign up bonus. And I'm really happy with it. I think we really used a credit card to its like maximum length, I would say, as first timers. And I definitely think in the future, when we do get it again, we will definitely plan ahead of time for a lot of various trips. And I'd also say this video isn't the explanation of how to hack Southwest Companion Pass, how to get the max value, how to get it for basically 2 years. If you Google something like this, you'll definitely find it, instead of just, let's say, the 1 year, because this is how it works. So again, I'll leave the specifics out of here, but still want to say also how we got it. And it's specifically with the Southwest Priority credit card, yes. But that card, a question came up from me earlier, like, hey, do we keep or cancel? And so without going into detail of every single Southwest credit card, even though I really want to, I will, I can make another video, do comment down below, happy to make it. Point is, this card has a $149 annual fee, but each and every year you get 7,500 Southwest miles. And in addition, you get $75 in terms of Southwest's travel credit. What this means is essentially that those 7,500 miles at 1 penny per point, that's $75, which is basically half of 150, and at a 149 annual fee, it's basically 149, 150, same thing in this situation. I would also say the points are valued at around, and the numbers vary, but just say around 1.4 cents per point. So super high level, that's worth, let's say, $100 and plus dollars, like 100 and change, like 100 to 110. So out of 149 annual fee, we're basically getting back that much in value in terms of miles, and then you still have the credit each and every year. So it's not like a one and done where, oh, we got Companion Pass and like we don't need to have this. There really is value in the longer term. I'll caveat it though with being based out of Atlanta, where Delta is the hub over there. I would have never taken a Southwest flight purposefully, or like I wasn't looking forward to it unless there was some specific reason. And like this is like a very small tidbit of info, but Southwest doesn't come up in Google's flight results because of that's how it's set up. So the point is like it's not even in my purview. But then in Dallas, it's like a big thing. It's like Southwest is like Coca-Cola in Atlanta. Like it's like a thing. So where I was going with that was...
Wait, that reminds me because I remember taking a Southwest flight. I don't know to where, but I remember like raving to him like, oh my God, Southwest is so nice. Like, you get like 2 free checked luggages. The snacks are great. People are really friendly. And I was really surprised because you've never taken a Southwest flight before. Like I literally introduced Southwest to you. That was your first flight. So that was so cool. Yeah.
Fun fact is we haven't done this, but a lot of people with Companion Pass or otherwise, with Southwest, you get 2 checked bags for free and you basically sit wherever you want. And in terms of the seating, it's basically when you check in, you're basically on this, position in line. So if you're the first one to check in, you can probably have the best seat, basically, or whatever seat you want. Southwest has 2 tiers, basically, like I think it's called A-list tier members. Like you basically have status with Southwest, and then you have the everyone else. So the point is, in terms of the 2 check bags, the fun fact was like some people will move across the country where like one person will have 2 check bags, one person has 2. So with Companion Pass, they take a couple trips like a shuttle. So very interesting. When I heard that, I was like, wait a second, that makes a lot of sense, and there's a lot of bang for buck. But again, Southwest was more the thing now that I'm aware of because of being in Dallas. But before that, like literally, like it wouldn't even bother,
Right. So before you book any flight, whether it's like Spirit, Frontier, Delta, American Airlines, I highly recommend going to the Southwest website and checking what type of deals there are on there.
True.
Yeah. So I mainly spend on the Southwest credit card, mainly to get the bonus for Companion Pass. Other than that, I just use other credit cards. But do you think it's worth spending on the
specific card?
Yeah.
I would say that card offers 3x per dollar spent on Southwest spend. In other words, you're getting 3 times miles per dollar spent with Southwest with the card. At the same time, I know you personally have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and the point is the Chase Sapphire Preferred or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and leaving scope of certain business cards by Chase, they have certain transfer partners, and Southwest is one of the partners. Yeah. So if you're getting, let's say, 3x on travel spend with these flexible travel currency cards like the Sapphire cards, then you don't need to spend necessarily on the Southwest card. With Southwest to get those 3x, you can just get 3x on a different card and transfer over. Point being, they have a bunch of like 2x categories as well. I would say the caveat, again, is if you're organically going for Companion Pass, the requirements, and they change over time and otherwise, but it would be 130,000 Southwest miles, if I'm not mistaken. What that really means is like you're basically spending on the cards, like your spend on the card could help you towards getting the next Companion Pass whenever.
Yeah.
But if you're spending like example, like, 1 to 3K or whatever, like it still doesn't, make it all the way.
Yeah.
So point is, we got Companion Pass through the sign-up bonus, but like organically, maybe there's not a situation right now where that would happen or make sense. So spending on it is like totally up to the individual. For example, like I'll put it on screen, like I saw a promotion, basically like, hey, enroll in this promotion and get 3x Southwest miles per dollar spent on like gas and certain categories for X amount of time. So that's like through the Southwest app. So unless you're like looking carefully, like I don't know if that's a like a thing that's obvious, but yeah.
I mean, they'll send you notifications of like certain deals that are going on, but I feel like it's easy to not notice them unless you are active on the app itself. So since it was your first time being a companion on a companion pass sort of thing, I have to ask, how was your experience?
That's funny. If I wasn't your companion and you had companion pass, I would question who's going to be your companion, you know what I'm saying? But no, jokes aside, no, I mean, it was phenomenal. Obviously, there's cost savings, money savings / optimizations that were possible, had we planned it and otherwise. I think definitely with the move city to city and then being our first year, but then having companion pass, I think the good thought was there of like how we would use it to shuttle back and forth, which is exactly what happened. But outside of that, I think we could have done better. But my personal experience as a companion, I think the value I took away was I got to experience Southwest more than, like literally more than I've ever, experienced it, like for obvious reasons. I do like the fact that I'll just share it because there's this one time where basically you pick your seat. So I picked the aisle seat. And you pick the window seat, and the middle seat were like, please, nobody come, please. And in the end, I think because of, traveling together, but not sitting next to each other, it was like people don't want the middle seat, generally speaking. So because that was already just, it looked like, oh, that middle seat, like I don't want it, or maybe someone's there, people would just kind of walk by us, So I think what I'm trying to say is my favorite seat, maybe when I was a kid, would be the window seat. But as I've gotten older, it's going to be the aisle seat. I'm a little taller, so I'm not that guy who has like their leg in the walkway in the plane, but definitely like I could use some extra space. Anyways, it was really nice knowing that every time we're on Southwest, chances are neither of us, especially me, wouldn't sit in a middle seat cramped between two people. So I know that's not like, oh my gosh, we visited all these destinations, but I think that has a lot of value in itself where like there's that safety or security of like when you're in flight, it's not going to be, oh man, what a crappy flight or some type of experience. At the same time, I definitely looking forward to the next time. And then we were already saying like, hey, in the future, if you strategize it where you have like, you get companion pass, I get companion pass, you got two other people, then that's like a party of four, right? Traveling for free and in that manner. So I think off the cuff, that's what comes to mind first. But would I be a companion again through this companion pass arrangement? You got to be kidding me. Like, why would I ever do it again? You know what I mean? I'm joking. But yeah, so.
Do let us know. Do share your experience with us in the comments down below. We would love to hear more about it.
Yeah, it will help us probably for the next time, basically. And I don't plug my own stuff, but it's your credit card. So if you're interested in applying for Southwest credit card, check out the referral link in the description below. It'll be hers, Sabrina. And with that, thanks for coming to the end.
Thanks. Bye.
Peace.